My name is Scott Williamson. I am the founder of this channel and also the founder of the Church of Non-Dual Light. And I just wanted to kind of give a brief description of what it's all about and what I'm doing here and the message that I'm promoting and the good that I'm trying to promote as well for individuals and the community. So, non-dualism, what is that? Non-dualism is the philosophical and spiritual understanding or perspective that reality is fundamentally unified, that the apparent divisions between self and other, mind and matter, subject and object, or good and bad are ultimately just expressions of the one indivisible whole. It teaches that duality arises only through the mind's conceptual distinctions, while the true nature or fundamental nature of existence transcends such opposites. In this view, consciousness and as the world are not separate entities fundamentally, but two aspects of the same underlying reality. It's relational. Realizing non duality is therefore not an intellectual belief, but a direct recognition of the seamless unity that pervades all existence and all experience. A shift from perceiving life through separation to experiencing it as it really is, as wholeness. Dualism, on the other hand, is the philosophical view that reality consists of two fundamentally distinct kinds of substances or principles, typically mind and matter. For religions, it could be spirit and body, heaven and hell, uh, the creator and the creation distinction, the subject object split, and are reducible to physical processes, and that the material world sort of operates independently of subjective experience. In religious or moral contexts, dualism often extends to contrasts like good versus evil or light versus darkness. And this framework emphasizes difference and separation as essential features of existence, language, and all definition, suggesting that understanding reality requires recognizing the interaction or tension between these two opposing realms. Now, non dualism can be a positive force. Non dualism can unity in society by dissolving the rigid distinctions that separate people into categories such as us and them. At its core, dualism teaches that all beings, things arise from the same underlying reality or consciousness, meaning that division is ultimately a mental or perceptual construct rather than an absolute truth. So when individuals begin to see themselves and others as expressions of one shared essence, the compassion naturally are going to increase. This understanding weakens prejudice, fear, and competition, replacing them with a sense of interconnection and mutual care. In social terms, non dual awareness encourages cooperation, inclusivity, and a recognition that harming another is, in essence, kind of like harming oneself. So it's fostering a more peaceful, cohesive, and loving society, obviously. Dualistic thinking, this habit of dividing reality into opposing categories such as us versus them, right versus wrong, or superior versus inferior, these things lie at the root of prejudice, bigotry, and violence. When the mind interprets the world through this binary lens, it oversimplifies the complexity of human experience, reducing individuals to labels or groups rather than recognizing them as multifaceted beings. And this separation breeds fear and distrust, making it easy to justify the mistreatment of those deemed other. Once moral or social worth is assigned based on these divisions, then prejudice hardens into ideology. And ideology, of course, can escalate into acts of exclusion or violence. So, in truth, all human beings share the same fundamental needs for safety, belonging, and meaning. Recognizing the limits of dualistic thought, of course, can open the door to empathy and understanding. And this is a step towards dissolving the mental borders that sustain conflict and hate. This can also promote well being. Non dualism and mental well being are correlated. Non dualism promotes mental well being by reducing the internal conflict that arises from perceiving oneself as separate from life, others, or even reality. When individuals realize that their thoughts, their emotions, experiences are part of one continuous flow of consciousness rather than opposing forces to fight against, they cultivate inner peace and acceptance. And this perspective lessens anxiety, guilt, and self criticism, allowing the mind to rest in the present moment instead of oscillating between regret and worry. So, by transcending the illusion of separateness, non dual awareness fosters compassion, equanimity, and resilience, creating a deep sense of harmony that supports emotional balance and clarity. While dualistic thinking, on the other hand, promotes neurosis in its extreme forms. Extreme dualistic thinking, where reality is rigidly divided into good versus bad, success versus failure, or self versus other, well, this creates chronic psychological tension. This mental polarization fuels neurosis, anxiety, and obsessive behaviors because the mind constantly struggles to control or suppress what it labels negative. And over time, this inner conflict triggers the body's stress responses, elevating cortisol levels and weakening the immune system. When the body remains in a prolonged state of fight or flight due to mental division and fear based thinking, it becomes more susceptible to inflammation, heart disease, and autoimmune disorders. So, in this way, dualistic perception not only distorts emotional reality, but can also directly undermine physical health. So, what I'm inviting you guys to do is to discover the deeper truth of who you are through the Church of Non Dual Light. And I invite you to explore your own essence and being beyond the limits of thought and separation. So, soon I'll be having upcoming meetings. And our upcoming gatherings are going to offer a welcoming space to learn about non duality, practice meditation, engage in meaningful community service, in flow state. These are practices that get you out of the rumination of the neurotic mind, you know? So together we'll uncover the unity that actually underlies all existence, cultivating peace, love, and awareness both within and around us. So please join me in this journey of awakening where spirituality meets service and where knowing yourself becomes the path to healing the world. Thank you so much for your time, and I really hope this resonates with you. Thank you.